word Gokyo is made up of two Japanese words, go meaning 5 and kyo literally translated as a teach or set. The Gokyo therefore consists of 5 teaching sets. Each set contains 8 throwing techniques. Originally conceived by the Kodokan in 1895, principally by Yamashita, Yokoyama and Nagaoka, it was revised in 1920 by Yamashita, Nagaoka and Mifune into its current form. For no specific reason, the first technique is Dai-ikkyo Harai. Tori sweeps Uki's advance foot in a sidewards direction. Tori's hands make a steering wheel action to guide him to the ground. Here are 2 great competition examples by Ruiz in the Barcelona World Championships, which show great opportunism and timing. Ruiz even manages it holding on with one hand. This time, Ruiz is moving at a much faster pace, but still manages to catch his opponent and catch the front foot. As Duadze puts his foot on the floor, Ruiz sweeps the foot and controls his opponent to the ground. This particular sweep puts him into the final of the World Championships. The great Tamura of Japan performs this counter-attack with Dai-ikkyo Harai and scores the perfect ippon. As her opponent attacks with Kouchigari, she sweeps the advance foot. Here's Dai-ikkyo Harai winning a world title for Cho of Korea. Cho was delighted, beating Barras in front of his home French crowd. Cho's right hand controls the neck and the sideward movement catches the front leg and flat on his back for ippon. With Hisaguruma, Tori blocks Uki's advanced knee with the sole of his foot. With the circular pulling action, Tori wheels Uki over his foot. Yanzi of France wins the bronze medal in the World Championships with a dynamic Hisaguruma. His incredible pulling action and circular movement wheels his opponent over clearly onto his back. This left-handed example shows the Belarusian stepping in with the right foot and controlling the upper body throughout the rotation of the technique. One of the great exponents of this technique is Nuno Delgado of Portugal. Delgado fully controls his opponent's left arm at the elbow and pushes upward with his left arm, and at the same time fully commits his body in a circular movement. The essential elements of Sasai Surikomiyashi is that Tori blocks Uki's ankle and draws them over the foot. Tori's blocking foot does not sweep away Uki's ankle. The upper body is rotated over the block. This is a perfect competition example by Ben Sonnemans of the Netherlands in the final of the 1997 European Championships. Sonnemans is a left-handed fighter, so notice the lifting action of his right hand and that his left foot clearly doesn't move throughout the technique. Ukigoshi is a half-hip throw that spins Uki off to the side. Tori's arm goes around Uki's waist, and the hips come halfway across Uki's body. Imbriani of Germany scores Ippon with a perfect ukigoshi. The arm slips around the back, the hips come halfway across, and she rotates her opponent over. World champion Graham Randall scores with a driving variation of ukigoshi. Starting from a lapel grip, he half connects with the hips and powers sideways. Osotogari is one of the biggest scoring techniques in modern judo. Tori sweeps the outside of Uki's leg and throws them backwards. This opportune combination by Tamura finishes with a perfect example of Osotogari. Kochigari into a left Seanagi enables Tamura to set her opponent up and to move smoothly into Osotogari and a clear finish. Nicholas Gill of Canada stretches right across his opponent's body in order to drive Croitoru of Romania over in the semi-final of the 1993 World Championships. Hooking behind the knee and pulling very strongly with his right arm controls the Romanian. World and Olympic champion Restou of France combines Kosotogari with a perfect Osotogari. Using Kosotogari in order to get a reaction, she then goes round the knee and drives backwards. Using a high lapel grip, she controls the head, then hooks with the leg, and then sweeps in order to finish the technique off. Schlatter of Germany combines Kochigari with Osotogari. Keeping control of the head, look at the sweep first for the Kochigari, then the driving action of the Osotogari to finish the technique off. Unlike ukigoshi, with ogoshi, the hip is fully committed across the body. Tori's arm goes around the waist and Uki is pulled onto Tori's hips. Tori then rotates Uki over his hips. Timenov of Russia demonstrates incredible power by throwing Tataroglu for Ippon. Using Ashiwaza in order to get a reaction from his Turkish opponent, he then drives his hips right the way through. Martin of Spain counters Pirantosi by driving her hips right the way across. As Pirantosi attacks, Martin stops the technique by gripping around the waist and forcing her hips in front. Olympic champion Kekalashvili of Georgia performs a massive ogoshi on Soz of Hungary. Trapping his opponent at the edge of the mat area, Kekalashvili throws the hips across and rotates his opponent onto his back. Ouchigari is an inner hooking throw to the rear. By creating enough space, Tori can hook Uki's inside leg and drive his opponent backwards. Cho of Korea hooks the inside of the leg and in this case drives her opponent over a static leg. This makes this particular variation more ouchigaki than ouchigari. But here, in the final of the 1993 World Championship, she makes more of a reaping action. She hooks her opponent's leg from underneath her, making it more of an ouchigari than an ouchigaki. The seoinage that is demonstrated in the Dai-ikkyo is Marote seoinage, which is a two-handed shoulder throw. Tori's lapel elbow goes underneath Uki's armpit as Tori turns in for the throw. Uki is then thrown over Tori's shoulder. In competition, seoinage is most commonly performed as a dropping throw. This is double Olympic champion Nomura of Japan throwing world champion Pulo of Cuba. He drops underneath, pulling him onto his back, and then powers back upwards to complete the throw. Here he is, winning the world title with the same technique. Nomura anticipates the Georgian's attack and drops first. His elbow quite clearly goes under the Georgian's armpit. World champion Graham Randall throws Johan Latz of Belgium with the same technique. From an extreme drop, Randall virtually stands completely up to complete the technique. Very few people do standing seoinage. One is the Great Cobra of Japan. From a single-sided grip, Cobra throws the elbow across and drives the hips through. And here's his famous one-handed seoinage.
Par excellence. Oh, he's done it again! Wow, goodness me, I don't think I've ever seen a technique like it. That's the throw of the tournament. Koga through Chang Soo Lee, who looked in a class of his own as well, with the most tremendous Marote seoinage. And he's in his first world final.